Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome to the May 2nd, 2017 Post Falls City Council meeting. Shannon, please note that all council members, with the exception of Mr. Malloy, are present, and Mr. Malloy is excused. Tonight, we do have a presentation. Actually, let me read a couple of announcements, and then we'll get to the ceremony and presentation. The e-Recycle Day and Drug Take Back event were a big success. We want to thank Urban Mining Depot for collecting unwanted electronic devices and Mountain West Bank for hosting document shredding. Thank you to the citizens who took advantage of these services, which keep these items out of the landfill and the aquifer. And you can pick up your 2017 recycling trash pickup calendar and the free reusable grocery bags and sprout pencils in the Finance Utility Department at City Hall on the second floor. The e-Recycle Day and the bags, calendars, and pencils are paid for with a grant from Post Falls Sanitation to encourage recycling and to keep items out of the landfill. Coffee with the Cop is Monday, May 15th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. at Gross Donuts in Post Falls. Join your neighbors and the Post Falls Police Department officers for coffee and conversation. The first cup of coffee is on us, and there will be free gun locks available. The City of Post Falls Parks Division has partnered with the Seeds of Change greenhouse at the New Vision High School to grow the annual bedding plants for our seasonal color program in the parks and public spaces. The public has the opportunity to purchase plants from the Seeds of Change greenhouse students at their annual greenhouse sale Saturday, May 6th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at New Vision High School. All proceeds from the sale are used for the continued support of the greenhouse, supplies, maintenance, etc. And as I said a minute ago, we do have presentations. Road Scholar Award presentation for David Hawks and Matthew Powell, and Layla Krall from the Local Highway Technical Assistance Council will present.
Thank you so much for having me once again to present some awards to your employees here at the City of Post Falls. The LTAC T2 Center has a training and technical assistance program that we offer for all local highway jurisdictions in the state of Idaho. The technical assistance portion, of course, comes anytime anyone wants to pick up the phone and give us a call from, usually from the highway employees, the roadway employees. So any questions on road mix or winter maintenance, sign heights, etc., they can call us and we'll, of course, help answer the question or connect them to the right resource to get their questions answered. The training portion is what we're here to talk about today, what I'm here to talk about today. We offer courses, training courses for road employees all over the state. Now 7-8 months a year, throughout the year, those classes are offered. And again, throughout the state, so to make it where there's less travel for the employees to get that training. The training is very affordable for a full day of training. Most of the courses are just $60 if registered early. So I challenge anyone to try to beat an all-day training course for that amount of money. But again, it's to make it affordable training for the employees of the local jurisdictions. There's 2 award programs within the T2 Center. The first is the Road Scholar. To attain the Road Scholar certification or award level, an employee takes approximately 80 hours of instruction, and that instruction covers a wide variety of topics. There's the professional development, the safety portion, and then the main portion is the maintenance type courses on how to maintain and keep care of the assets that you already have. Most of the courses require an exam with an 80% to pass. A little tougher than just traditional school. We want to make sure the employees are getting trained and that it's worth it for you to keep sending your employees to all-day training courses. I've recently heard that as employees mature, they get very nervous about the testing, and so it's nice to see the successes on the other end of the employees coming to those courses and passing those exams to get to this level. They have 4 years to complete the program. However, many of the employees can accomplish that much quicker by taking more courses every session as they come out. When the employee reaches this level of Rhodes Scholar, we feel it's really important to honor them and recognize them in front of their council or commission, those of you who choose to keep investing in your employees and keep investing in the training for them. So that's what I'm here today for, is the Rhodes Scholar. When an employee reaches the level of Rhodes Scholar, we present them with a certificate, with a hat that says T2 Rhodes Scholar, and then with the Leatherman tool that's inscribed with the Rhodes Scholar on that. So, without further ado, first we have David Hawks.
Thank you. Thank
This. I know that's what you really want.
thank you. I know, right?
And we have Matthew Powell.
Thank you.
So again, a really, oh. Again, we believe that properly trained employees is the best way to invest in your infrastructure and your assets that you have. Having them well maintained, maintained the same way, the right way every time by all your employees is a good way to stretch that dollar. The Rhodes Scholar and Roadmaster program is hopefully very beneficial for your employees. I would feel that they would say the same thing, but it often takes a leader within the organization to help manage everybody and register for the classes and keep track. And if I could just take an extra minute to thank Kathy for all of her work with the program. We work often with her on scheduling classes or making sure we're getting the right classes up to Post Falls that your employees need to continue on in the program. I pulled some numbers. In 2006, the City of Post Falls' first employee was awarded with the Rhodes Scholar, and in 2011, the first Roadmaster was awarded. A total of 10 Rhodes Scholars have been awarded to the City of Post Falls and 6 Roadmasters, which is the second step in the program. I think that's really remarkable, and again, I think a lot of that, of course, the guys taking the courses and going to the classes, but it takes somebody to keep track of all that and be the leader in the program. So from LTAC and the T2 Center, we wanted to publicly thank Kathy for all of her work and support of the T2 training program through the years. So thank you, Kathy.
Well, on behalf of myself and council, David, Matthew, for the work you've put into it, your efforts to improve yourselves, which improves the city, improves our citizens, we thank you. Kathy, you know the old adage, behind any successful man, there's a woman that's driving them. And we know that you coordinate, so thank you for all you do as well. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good job, congratulations. Nicely done.
Way to represent the mature among us there. Congratulations.
And a thank you from LTAC to the city for continuing to invest in your employees. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions, Lynn?
No, I love seeing you because whenever you're here.
It's for this, right? I'll grab a couple pictures for them also. So again, they'll be in our newsletter that goes out with that recognition of the employees completing their Rhodes Scholar program.
I got to tell you, though, I loved your comment about how, as these students mature, so I guess how it would do fine, because we're still trying to mature. So I mean, it is a lot of work, so we appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
We have none tonight, sir.
Any declarations of conflict?
No.
Would you please present the consent calendar?
Item A is minutes, April 18th, 2017 City Council meeting. Item B is payables, April 11th through April 24th, 2017. Item C is award of the 2017 chip seal bid to Poe Asphalt. Item D is approval for the 2018 budget hearing notification. Item E is master development agreement addendum for Montrose preliminary planned unit development amendment. Item F is master development agreement for the Bluegrass Point subdivision. Item G is the master development agreement for the County Meadows subdivision amendment. And item H is a service contract with NeoGov for application tracking services software.
Any questions on? I've got one. The service contract, NeoGov, that's for the applications for HR. Price on it, it's not inexpensive. And so I guess the question I would ask is, and I know you've looked at it, but Teresa, would you tell us what, I know there's going to be an advantage to it, but in my own mind I was trying to look at cost justification and
Well, the actual annual cost of it is a little over $5,000. So the initial contract will do the service and training for us and the setup. But the annual cost is about $5,000. What it does is it allows us to get a lot more done, and it allows me not to have to ask for another person in the office, because we're reaching a point where we are so busy with and gladly, processing applications and recruitments and all of that, that it is chewing up an incredible amount of time, and we're rapidly approaching that point where it's either something like this or it's asking for another employee.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the fact that it's $5,000 annually. I mean, it's, when you look at $400 a month, it's probably money well spent, so.
I think it is.
Good. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
input, appreciate it. Any comments? Not an entertain a motion.
I move for approval of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion second, further discussion? Shannon, please take the roll.
Thorson,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Henderson. Aye. Borders.
Aye.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you very much. Next item up is public hearings. Tonight we have none, followed by unfinished business, we have none, followed by citizens issue, which is a section of the agenda reserved for citizens wishing to address the council regarding a city-related issue that is not on the agenda. If anyone wishes to speak, come forward. State your name for the record, please. Seeing none, let's go to the next item, which is new business. CityLink Transit Center Letter of Support Request. And Shelley, I believe you're going to...
Yes, I received a request asking if the City of Post Falls was going to do any kind of letter of support for the transit center. It's my understanding the City of Coeur d'Alene is doing a letter of support. And so I added this onto the agenda. I don't have any documentation. I did send out today for those who received it, because I received a question on what the cost of the transit center was going to be. Phase 1 is estimated at $2.1 million, and full build-out is $2.6 million. And it will be funded through grants and also through the ride share program, and also matching dollars from the local jurisdictions will go towards that.
Well, and to follow up on that, I received a phone call from County Commissioner Chris Filios. And if you've read the paper, you've seen where the county commissioners on a vote of 2-1 voted in favor of this, or the next step of it. Then a local political group passed a resolution against it. So there's been a lot of talk. And when Commissioner Filios asked me if I would send him a letter of support, I says not without visiting with council about it. The transit service itself, I think, is very good. We've had presentations on that. One of my concerns, I guess, I have no problems with the transit center being built. What I did appreciate, Chief Hogue and Chief White from Coeur d'Alene weighed in with very good information, because one of the claims is if you build it, it's going to be a crime magnet. And I believe the information that the two chiefs provided said that's not necessarily the case. So to me, it's a matter of cost, what's being built, and I don't have enough information to really render an opinion on that. My personal feeling is I support the transit service itself. It probably makes sense to have a spot for it to be housed. Right now it's at Riverstone, which is where the new facility would be. I'm not at this point personally willing to say go spend the money or not, but I'm not against it either. So again, I just wanted to run it by council and ask Shelley to put on the agenda so we could get input, see if anybody has comments.
Sure.
And I appreciate that, because that's where I am. I served with, where Lynn Borders is now serving with the Kootenai Metropolitan Planning, and we had a lot of discussions over the last, really, year or two about the project. And for the record, refresh my memory, how much do we contribute to CityLink?
Right now, I'm looking at a number right now that says contributive funding share, Post Falls is 35.5, but is that current or is that proposed?
That must be future. The
I was
current
gonna
was
say-
in the 20,
Okay.
25,000.
it's like 23,000 a year is what we've been
Yeah,
funding.
that's what I was thinking, it was close to 25, so and it's also my understanding that we contribute because of the services that it provides in Post Falls. Some of those have been more limited, and now they're talking about adding some more routes or stops on them, but some of the routes in the last couple of years have
They're
been,
changing the routes. I don't think there's going to be any additional stops in Post Falls. It's just a changing
And it was
of the stops and
well, they were
routes.
talking about the,
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
yeah, well, they were talking about adding back the food bank and the senior center in something that I read in recent.
Right, but I think there's some other stops that are going away, so I think.
Right. But so I think it's a viable thing for the city to continue to contribute to. But I was going to ask you if you wanted to write a letter as the mayor. I would not sign the letter, or I'm just not, yeah. Just a lot of
Okay,
moving parts to
You
it.
just lost me. So you support
You-
the transit, but you're not in favor of the transit center,
Isn't that what they're asking for? They're asking for a letter in support of building
Yes.
the new transit
Yes.
center.
That's what I
These
wanted
are
to
all
make sure.
peripheral. I'm just saying that CityLink is important and valuable and viable in our community that is not connected to that piece necessarily. So,
Okay. Oh,
yeah, I just wouldn't sign it.
I'm kind of along with same thoughts you are, Mr. Mayor. Without seeing what's going to be approved, I mean, in principle, yes, we probably need a transit center, but, I don't see where it's necessary for us to sign a letter of support on something we haven't actually seen all the detail on. So,
I agree exactly what Alan said. It's just too early to make a decision on that right now.
okay, Lynn?
I support it. You just have to kind of look at the ridership that's going out there. You have to look at the facilities that they're using. Right now, there's really no shelters at the stops whatsoever. So people are standing out on the curb irregardless of the weather, waiting for the bus. I think that our ridership shows from the whole region, not just Post Falls, but shows the need for such a system. And I think if we don't have such a system, I think it puts a huge burden on our other resources that cost benefit wise, we probably would lose. So I support it.
Linda?
Well, I spent 6 years on KMPO, so as a board member and as an alternate for Mayor Larkin. And the Transit Center has actually been in the makings for years before that, because it was at the Transportation Roundtable 9 years ago. There have been pictures of it out there, drawings of it out there, talk of it as I understand it from being on that board in the past, that there was no question it was going forward. So I was actually a little surprised to hear that there was a question about it going forward. I'd probably be in favor of it for the same reasons that that Lynn just said. As far as a letter goes, I believe that probably should come from the mayor.
It's interesting because you talked about, you didn't realize it was even a topic to go forward, and I think that's what some of the commissioners said is, no, this is for something that's been in place. Well, with council concurrence, I think what I'll do is I'm going to reach out to Commissioner Filios and say, in general, we all support the transit system itself, that it's not that we're either for necessarily or against. I'll say it was mixed on the transit center, but more information would be helpful, and that way I'll just represent everybody's views if that's agreeable.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
As citizens, any of us can write a letter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they're taking it for 5 more
The
days.
public hearing, yes, is tonight, and they have 5 more days. And I send you the 161-page document, and it does have information about the transit center in there. So if anyone in the public needs that information, we can get it out to them. It does not have the design or any, what the mayor is referring to, the actual design is not in there.
And one of my concerns when I started reading all the information, that's why I wanted to thank the chiefs, was that, you build it, it's going to be a crime center, and not necessarily, I mean, it's they've not had significant increase in calls, and I think if you build a facility that people can, like Councilman Porter said, stay inside out of the inclement weather, it's probably not going to create crime either. So anyway, that's the way I'll respond, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your input. Next item is ordinances and resolutions. Tonight we have none. How about administrative and staff reports?
We have none tonight, sir.
Perfect. Mayor comments. I have a quick question. We had an issue, there were some people who had posted that on the city cleanup, that the trucks had missed their toters. And I know Kit posted on Facebook. Have we heard any additional comments or?
Have we found out why they didn't pick up, Jason?
Yeah, Post Falls Sanitation went through the neighborhood with the truck after I had notified them that there was an issue, and they didn't see any, they reached out with, I told them 2 customers in particular that had made postings, and they're going to reach out to those customers because when the truck went through, there was no missed cans out, so.
Okay.
Phil had said he was going to make contact with them.
Good. I appreciate the follow-up. And like I say, you get these comments, and the best way is just to reach out and see what the story is. Sure. Thank you very much. Council comments. Councilor Border, I know you got a question.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could get an update on the comp plan update, where we're at with that.
Putting Tavis on the spot.
How was that for being put on the spot?
Yeah.
I prepared for something else, but not this. Right now with the comprehensive plan update, we're kind of between process. We had some, a couple months ago, we had some stakeholder meetings, and then we had in the rotunda out here, we had a few days, evening meetings and all day with some visioning involving the community. And the City of Cascade has taken that information and is kind of compiling it and processing it, and then we're going to get to the next phase, which is just going to be some more of the same, and some visioning and community involvement.
Any idea on the timing of the next phase?
I'm not aware of that at this time, no.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We'll have John send out an email tomorrow letting you know what the preliminary timeline is for everything.
Awesome. Good. Thanks. Thank you, Tavis. Any comments? Carrie.
Trivia, what is tomorrow, the 3rd?
Yes.
Will be, in May 2010 is when the chamber got their occupation certificate for the new chamber building out there. It just seemed like it's been there forever, but it hasn't been too long. And then tomorrow, or Saturday, is the Lions Club, Post Falls Lions White Cane Day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They'll be at Yokes with the white canes, awareness for people sight impaired and blind, and that's the work they do. So the Lions will be out with their little white canes that you can wear on your lapel.
Thank you. Linda.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the chamber as well, and thank Jamie for a very successful business fair that turned out very, very well, and we always have fun there and get to see the citizens. It's just a really good event, so I wanted to thank her for that.
Thank you. Good. Thank you very much. We do not need an executive session.
Do not.
Next meeting is?
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.